phone calls. Who even says that we have treaties that permits the US to come into our country?
What the Americans are looking for in this country are something greater, their own interests.
Yeah. This is politics taken too far.
I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern.
There's genocide against Christians in this country.
I'm not a Christian, but they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000.
What the Americans are looking for in this country are something greater, their own interests.
Yeah.
What are those interests by your own assessment?
Three things. Number one, to stop Tinubu from becoming president in 2027.
On October 31st, 2025, the war stopped for a moment. The President of the United States made a shocking statement that sent waves across Africa. America might take military action against Nigeria. This single statement, within hours, global news exploded. From Washington to Abuja, and suddenly everyone was asking the same question. Has the US declared a new kind of war on Nigerians? Is Trump really coming for the help of Christians in Nigeria, or is the US coming for the resources of Nigeria? This video will explain the genesis of everything, how it all began. But before we ride on, don't forget to like and subscribe. From this particular day being 31st, speaking during a press briefing at the White House and through a post on Twitter which the rapper Nicki Minaj first reacted to, President Trump said the US Department of War had been ordered to prepare a possible response to what he called ongoing systematic persecution of Christians in Nigeria. The president announced that Nigeria would immediately be listed as a country of particular concern, CPC, under the International Religious Freedom Act. No doubt, this is a USA law that allows sanctions and diplomatic pressure against nations accused of tolerating or participating in religious persecution. This was not the first time Nigeria appeared on this list. It had been placed here in 2020, later removed in 2021, and now reinstated under the new leadership. The statement also confirmed a partial suspension of US foreign aid, a move that will affect the health, education, and security program across Nigeria. The question is, why did America take this step truly? It's safe to say that the cleric based in Plateau State by the name Ezekiel Dachomo was the one who began the outcry for help on this matter. The man was seen in most viral videos begging and calling the world, United Nations and America for help. But wait, before he started all this, I would like you to know that the United States decision did not come overnight. It was the result of years of mounting pressure from human rights groups, churches, and lawmakers. Since 2009, Nigeria has battled the Boko Haram insurgents, a military Islamic group that started in Maiduguri, Borno State. The group's original goal was to establish an Islamic state and oppose Western education. But over time, it evolved into a violent network responsible for bombing, mass killings, and kidnappers across the Northwest. The most notorious of this was the Chibok girls' abduction in April 2014, when 276 girls were kidnapped from a government school. More than 90 remained missing over a decade later. By 2015, Boko Haram had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State, ISIS, forming ISWAP, the Islamic State West of African province. Since then, attacks have spread beyond Borno to Yobe, Adamawa, Niger, and Plateau State, including bombing in marketplaces and churches. And on the other side, independent human rights organizations estimated over 50,000 people who are mostly civilians have been killed by Boko Haram and ISWAP since 2009. The US government also cited rising attacks by armed herdsmen in the Middle Belt, in states like Benue, Plateau, Nasarawa, where thousands of farmers, mostly Christians, have been killed or displaced. On the other hand, American legislation, especially members of the Republican Party, have repeatedly accused the Nigerian government of downplaying Christian persecution and failing to protect minority communities. By mid-2005, a report from the U.S. Commission on International Religion Freedom and several Christian advocacy groups reached Congress describing recent mass killings in Bokos, Plateau State, and Kafanchan, Kaduna State, where dozens of villagers were killed in their sleep. This was where the cleric Ezekiel Dachomo came in. And all of this built pressure on the White House to act the way they did. And in response to this is what the Nigerian government had to say. The Nigerian government responded firmly and defensive at the same time. In a statement released by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, the government described the U.S. announcements as misleading and disrespectful to Nigerian sovereignty. This made many Nigerians to oppose his statement, in a comment section. The minister explained that Nigeria is a multi-religious country with nearly or equal number of Christians and Muslims, both of them who have been victims of terrorism. He said it was wrong for the US to present the violence as Christian persecution issue, when in reality, Boko Haram and ISWAP also target Muslims who oppose their ideology. The Minister of Defense, in a separate press briefing, called the threat of military action an insult to the Nigerian armed forces. He reminded journalists that Nigerian soldiers had been fighting the same terrorists for over a decade, often with limited foreign support and heavy casualties. The Nigerian Foreign Affairs Minister also warned that any US intervention would be a violation of international law, as no country has the right to deploy troops on another soil without United Nations authorization or bilateral agreement. Behind closed doors, officials in Abuja reportedly met with diplomats from Russia and China to discuss possible joint response if the US pushed further. The Nigerian public, meanwhile, was divided. This is because some believe that the US finally recognizes Christian suffering, while others are calling it another possible neo-colonial intrusion with claims that the US are planning to steal our natural resources. However, this whole brouhaha has begun causing stirres with neighboring countries in Africa. Talking about the Chad border close, on November 2, 2025, the Republic of Chad, which is one of Nigeria's closest neighbors and a key partner in the fight against Boko Haram, announced the temporary closure of their border with Nigerian Borno and Yobe states. The Chadian government said that the move was based on heightened regional tension and the possibility of external military operation near shared borders. This wasn't the first time Chad has closed their border with Nigeria. In 2014-2019, similar moves followed escalation of violence in northern Nigeria. But this time, the reason was different: the fear of US military involvement and the uncertainty it could create across the Sahel. And the security analysis warned that if the tension continues, it could disrupt the multinational Joint Task Force, a regional military alliance between Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, and Niger, formed in 2015 to fight against Boko Haram. While Sharia law technically applies on Muslims, introduction triggered religions with access to northern cities. Especially in Kaduna, over 2,000 people were killed between February and May 2000. Churches were burned down, mosques were attacked in revenge of thousands that fled. Most statements also argued that such state laws created enormous of institutional discrimination that continues to endanger Christians in Nigerian northern side. No doubt we can keep going on and on, but what exactly is the root of the whole problem? On this aspect, Nigerian security crisis today is the result of decades of political, religious, and ethnic neglect. The North-South divide, which started during the colonial era, depends after independence of 1960. Success military regime failed to address poverty and unemployment in creating fertile ground for the radical knowledge. When Boko Haram emerged in 2022 under Mohammed Yusuf, it was seen by many movements against corruption and Western influence. But by 2009, after youths dealt in custody, the group transformed into a full-blown insurgence. Since then, the violence has spread. The Middle Belt became a flashing point for farmers. Incidents like this shows how fragile and complicated the situation already is, even for Nigeria's own forces. A full scale of US military presence would also require permission from Nigeria or the United Nations, which currently seems unlikely. So far, it appears that the threat of force is being used mainly as diplomatic pressure, not as actual invasion or plan. Hopefully, because Trump can be very crazy if he wants anything, he definitely gets it. And in conclusion to all this, no doubt this is not just a political story. It's a picture of how deep Nigeria's wounds have become. And whether the US follows through or not, the message is very clear. The world is watching Nigeria again, not because of its oil or economy this time around, but because of its own bloodshed, which the people in power have taken so lightly or blinded about. And that alone says a lot about how far things have truly fallen apart. Tell us what you think about this whole thing. Do you think Trump's interest was for the good of Christians or for their selfish gain? Because truly, does America really do anything for free? Let me allow you to answer that question in the comment section. Drop your comment on what you think and don't forget to like and subscribe. Share to others. Bye for now.